Okay, this video I'm going to be working on the Voyager again a little bit. I'm going to do some more speaker modifications here. I pulled the front speakers out. I had these 6 3/4 inch Kenwoods in the front. I'll put 6.5 inch Fosgates up there instead. I already had those in there. They sound much better than the Kenwoods, a lot more bass. The rear, I'm going to take these rear speakers. Now these are this is the factory Kawasaki kit that goes on the back. In another video, I upgraded the speakers. I put these Polk audios in, so these are 5 1/4 Polks, because that's what actually fits inside the frame. Since I pulled these 6 3/4 inch Kenwoods out, I figured I'd try to see if they would actually fit in the hole. They actually fit in there. They overlap the edge a little bit though, but I don't think it's going to overlap enough that it will matter. So I think I'm going to put these 6 3/4 in the back here. Once you pop the cover on, it's going to stick out a little bit, but it's not going to stick out any more than the engineered adapters do. So as far as anyone noticing the bike, I don't think you'll ever notice it unless you point it out to somebody. The edge fits on it fine. Again, it's overhanging a little bit. The only thing I'm going to have to do is drill holes through the leather and drill holes into the plastic underneath to create anchor points. But I'll do that for you and let you know if it messes it up or not. Now to save you some time, I'm not going to show you how to take the speaker grills off. They're pretty simple. There's 4 tech head screws in the top that hold them on. The speaker comes out, you pull the 2 wires off. So what I've done is I've dropped these in place. I've gone ahead and connected the wires to the back of them. I've checked the polarity on them to make sure the polarity is correct. And I've got another video. I'll put a link above if you need to know how to do that. Make sure you got the positive. So I've hooked up both of these and I've just kind of sat them in there, and I'm going to turn the bike on and I'm just going to see what it sounds like. Make sure I actually like the way they sound before I go through all the effort of drilling holes in the leather. And once I get that done, then we'll go ahead and mount them. Now obviously more than 3 seconds or 4 seconds of that, it'll block my video. So I put them in there, I test fitted them, I made sure they worked. I kind of secured them in place by hand just to seal the seal around it, because you lose a little bit of bass by not having them actually sealed in place. I also pulled off the cowl earlier because my amplifier's up underneath there. So my amp is here, so if you're going to upgrade the speakers in the back, you're going to have to readjust your amplifier if you have an amplifier on here. If not, again, I'll put a link above. You'll be able to follow it and watch the video where I'm actually putting the amp in if you need to know how to put the amplifier in. Now since I'm kind of forcing this in place, it's not going to fit absolutely perfect in there. If you can see, there's a little gap at the top. The seal of the speaker, basically what you want to do is make sure that these holes right here in the speaker are actually covered. So as long as the seal around here touches around here, it should still seal up pretty good and still have pretty good bass to it. So when I put mine in here, I might end up turning mine a little bit more toward the front of the bike, so I get a better bite back here with the screws, because I can snug that up really good there. Sorry about the lighting, it's not really good right now. But I can turn around and I can get 2 good screws in there. I can get 1 good screw in the back side. That's going to keep it from moving, and as you can see at the top, it's still sealed up against the leather, so I think I'll get a good sound out of it. Not the best position in the world, but at least you can kind of see what I'm doing. So I've got a fine-tipped Sharpie. I'm going to get the speaker right where I want it, and I'm going to figure out where I want to mount it at. So I'm going to use the factory mounting tabs. I'm just going to take the Sharpie and dot the leather behind it. And again, I'm going to go for 3 points here. If I can get the 4th one later, I will, but 3 points are my goal. So 1, 2, and of course it's under my hand. So as you can see, I got 1, 2, 3 points marked out. Now if you're changing out the factory speakers, there's some little air ports in the bottom of this. I had to take a tool and cut off the air ports for the magnet to fit on the back of that Polk audio. It's made for a shallow mount speaker, just like the factory ones that come out of the front. It's really thin, paper thin, and a really tiny magnet on it, so the magnet would not fit. I just ground those off. It didn't seem to have any effect on it at all. So the next thing I want to do is I want to take a drill and drill bit, and I want to take the screw that comes with it from the factory, and I want the drill bit to be 1 size smaller than that screw, maybe 2. I'm going to feel behind there. There's not a whole lot of room back there again, and I'm just going to pre-drill in the plastic and through the leather. So it's just a small hole right there. Look at the top one. I'm not going fast, so I don't blow right on the other side because you don't want to pop out the back side of your leather for sure. Do my 3 holes here. Put your wire behind there, make sure you don't hit your wire. I'm going to mount the speaker. Now another thing to check is your screw length. The screws that come with it. If I put the screw in here, you can see it's going to come right out the back side of it. So I need to find a shorter screw that still anchors into there. The top one should be fine because I'm in a little bit deeper. The bottom one I had plenty of room down below. Even this top one's going to be close, so I'm going to find a couple more screws that are same thread, just a little bit shorter. Also remember, if you're going to change the speaker or the screws that come with the factory speakers, make sure you're using stainless or something that won't rust, galvanized. That way you don't have rust running down the side of your leather if you ride in the rain. So there are my 3 main screws mounted in there. The 4th one's up underneath the cushion. I'm probably going to go shoot that one in next. When you tighten these up, don't tighten one up all the way. Get them all started and then run them in evenly. And keep checking the back of your speaker to make sure you're actually sealed in the back and you're not sticking out. Now, for some reason, you do end up with a gap. Mine's close in the back, but it's not far enough out that the speaker in the back is not sealed up. But if for some reason you're off a little bit, you can take some like door seal. They make speaker foam, basically any type of foam, and fill the back of it, and then resecure it so the foam will actually seal around the leather. That way you're not losing air out the side. You lose air, you lose base. So there's our finished product. Again, not the exact fit for it, but fits in there good. Doesn't overhang too much in the back, so if you got a passenger on the back, it won't bother them. As far as the side goes, again, it sticks out just a little bit, but from a couple feet away, no one's ever going to know the difference. Personal preference, again, that's not going to bother me any at all. One last thing to check before you put your covers on. Make sure your cone actually moves and you didn't hit the leather or anything behind it, because depending on the size speaker you use or the size cone, you may have to modify the back of that for it to fit. But my cone's moving freely, so I didn't hit anything in the back of it. I checked the other side also. I just forgot to remind you to do that. So that's your final result on the Kawasaki Voyager. Again, those were 5 1/4 inch speakers. They're now 6 3/4 inch speakers. So we're going to get a ton more bass out of them than what we had originally. I used a Kenwood speaker. Not the best speaker in the world, but again, that's what I had in the front already. So instead of buying new speakers, I figured I'd throw those in the back. I push most of my sound toward the front anyhow when I'm riding. But either way, I'll do a review on them in a couple weeks, let you know how it sounds.